got the bear camp in Manitoba, Canada. This is our little cabin we're gonna be staying in. We're here with North Mountain Adventures up here in Manitoba, and we're just now getting here, getting settled in. Got some of our stuff piled up. Just getting ready, kind of orientating ourselves. It's gonna be an awesome adventure.
I had tons of people reach out to me and be like, how'd you get into this? Why did you get into this? What's this like? The number one question you guys just posted about is, do you even eat bears? Right. Like, people they're not educated.
We got to ask that today when we order.
Just got done getting our licenses and eating dinner here at Bear Camp in Manitoba. We got a super awesome group of guys. We got Mr. Brent Reaves, David McDaniels, Tyler Hartwig. Who else we got? Cody, Garrett, Mr. Jeff. And we are getting set. We're all done with dinner and everything. Gonna go to bed here in a little bit. It'll be dark for a little while now. It's almost 9 o'clock. We'll do a little shooting. And just trying to be prepared as we can for tomorrow. Out here setting baits. Mr. Ash, bear hunter and guide extraordinaire. He told us when we come in here, when you're coming up to these bait sites, you better look in the trees because you might have run a sow off. And if her cubs are up in the tree, last thing you want to do is walk up underneath that tree and that sow's just around the corner. She come after you. So we're keeping our eyes out, but we've baited up a couple sites already. It's our first evening here in Manitoba at North Mountain Adventures. And I'm sitting on a stand right now. I got a bait barrel right there at 19.8 yards. And I'm waiting on the first bear of the evening. We went out baiting earlier this morning. And some of those baits have already been hit during the middle of the day. So we've got some pretty high hopes for our evening hunt. And I think everybody's already settled in now. I've been on stand for a little bit, but we still have a long way to go. It is almost 5:45, but it doesn't. Just had my first bear come in. He was walking this creek right here. He just didn't know what to do. Didn't want to cross it very bad. He finally came across and he ended up like 10 yards behind my tree, and the wind blew right at him, and he spooked off and ran back and ran across the creek, splashing and all of that. Pretty cool. It's getting later. It's 8:37, so it's gonna be seeing a lot more movement. He's back. This is the same little bear that had been coming in all day. He'd been coming in, he'd grab a piece of bait, and then he would take off and either go back across the creek or go back in the woods and eat it. So I kind of figured he was nervous and that there was a possibility of a bigger bear in the area. But as it got darker and darker, my hopes kind of waned that would happen, at least before shooting light ended. And then here towards dark, a bigger bear finally did come in. All right. So this is our first night. I had a little bear come in here earlier, right when it got too dark to shoot. Quite a bit bigger bear came in and just been playing with that barrel. Dude, I don't know what he was doing. The sucker just decided to walk straight towards my tree, walked past my ladder and hopped up on my tree. So I had to hollered at him a couple times and he just did not care. He just hung out, stared at me for a minute, and started walking around, popping his jaws. Now he's sitting at the barrel. I mean, sucker can hear me talking. He just does not care. It's a pretty nice bear. I'd probably shoot him if I had good enough daylight, but that was a little bit nerve-wracking, to say the least. Alrighty, it's our second day here in Manitoba. See my bait right there. That bigger bear came in last night and ran us off, kind of. He didn't actually run us off, but he never really left until they came to get me, and all he did was run behind the tree and just kind of behind my tree and just stand there while we left. But bait's been hit hard all last night. There's big tracks everywhere. There's on the trail camera, there's a bigger bear, probably 300 plus. That bear from last night's maybe 230, 240, 250. I just got done getting poured and sleeted on, and as you can see, the sun's coming out again. But there's plenty of bears in here. Mr. Brent Reaves killed an absolute tank last night, 440 pounds. Big bear. He squared 6'8". Squared him out this morning. Really, really nice bear. And a big chocolate. There's another bigger bear over there. It's actually bigger than that one. But everybody's got big bears on camera. We'll just see how this evening folds out and see what happens. I had seen that little bear from the day before, at least I assumed it was the same bear from the day before come in, but he kept acting nervous, and then finally this big bear made his way across the creek crossing kind of to my right, made his way to the barrel. And bears are super hard to judge. They're notorious for that. And me being, this is my first hunt on a bait, not really seeing bears this close and judging based on a barrel and all of that, they're just hard to judge. I was extremely naive to think that this bear might not be that big, because he's a great bear. He's sitting on his back legs on his butt, eating off the top of the barrel, and when you see him cross in front of the barrel, his back is clearly over the top. But again, just being new, I didn't want to make a mistake, and just wanted to make sure I was judging him correctly, and that the angle and all of that stuff, I just wasn't used to it, and so I kept watching him. Sat at the barrel for a long time now. He's just over there eating right now. He took a piece of beaver and ran over there. So I may regret that bear. Here's the thing about these bears. They do not care about humans. They don't care that we're here. It kind of bothers them, but it doesn't scare them like a whitetail or anything else. For a little while after that big bear walked off and went across the creek with his beaver, a couple of smaller bears kept kind of parading through. They'd come behind me and come right underneath my stand and mess around at the bait for a while. And eventually that bigger bear that I'd been filming came back. And here, if you notice, there's a bear that crosses the creek behind this big bear while he's at the barrel. And I couldn't tell because of all the brush what it was. I figured it was one of the smaller bears. And then here in a little bit, I'll find out exactly what it is. This big bear is acting weird. There's a little bear right here, but he doesn't care about me. He keeps looking over.
up until this point, this dark muzzled bear was the biggest bear I'd seen. And of course I was having trouble judging, just still being so relatively new to hunting. I figured, well, if this bear pushed him off, maybe he's not that big. And then once this bear with the lighter muzzle came in, you could see now, especially now that I see it on a big screen, how bowed out his front legs are, and big shoulders, ears are kind of to the side, big, huge rear end. And at the time, I just couldn't quite tell how big they were, but I wasn't in a big hurry either, because we still had, 3 more days of hunting. And if they were coming in on the second day, I figured I'd have a chance. But I was going to be ready in case one of them presented a really good opportunity. I decided by then that I probably would take one of these bears, just because it'd be my first bear and with a longbow. Eventually, both of the bigger bears wandered off, and I kind of lost my opportunity for that day. And a couple little bears came in right towards dark and stayed until dark, and so it was on to the next day.
Right, I'm settled in for the third evening. We actually moved our bait to right here from about 19 and a half yards down to 11 or 12. It's just going to be an absolute money shot right there. It's going to be no problem because I'm using the longbow, so it's good to get every advantage. These bears are not scared, so there's not any real reason not to move it closer because they don't care that I'm here. They know I'm here and they don't really care. They're big. They're way bigger than me. We're thinking at least one of the ones I saw yesterday was probably in the mid 300s, so I'm hoping if one of those two really good bears come in last night, just loved videoing and watching them, and so I just let them walk. But if they come in tonight, they're in a lot of trouble. I've got the longbow, and it's looking like a great evening.
After last night and talking to Craig and Melanie and some of the other guys, and just it being my first bear, especially with not my first bear, but my first bear with traditional archery and my first baited hunt, I decided if either of those bears came back in, I was definitely going to take the opportunity. So this is the dark muzzled bear from the night before, and I had already decided that if he gave me a good opportunity, I was going to take it. Unfortunately, on this first encounter, he always seemed to have his leg forward or be angling towards me or just straight on. He never really presented me a good enough broadside shot. After he grabbed that piece of beaver, he went across the creek and ended up finally coming back. Started to get a little bit later, and he finally came back and tried to sneak around behind me, and then didn't like it. and went back across the creek and ended up just sitting there all the way until almost dark. And he just sat there and watched all the other bears. I was hoping that some of the little bears coming into the bait would make him mad, and he'd actually come in and run them off and then try and get them away. And he eventually did, but only right when it was getting dark. As a hunter, you want to make sure that your first shot is the best shot that it can possibly be. Sometimes stuff doesn't go as planned, and you've got to think on the fly, and you've got to react as quickly as possible. And as you can see by the blood trail, that second shot made a huge difference.
As far as I can see down this trail here. I can see it, yeah, I can see it 30 yards ahead of me. I can't even believe he's still alive. Look at the blood.
Oh my goodness.
There's no way. I can see, like, it's so easy to tell. I can see the blood. 30 yards ahead. I just want to make sure he's not still alive. Really? His bait went dead. We got one. It's a good bear, man. Look at the dude.
Get your tongue back in your mouth.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
Congrats, man.
Log. Yes, sir, brother. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice job, Logan.
That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah, he's
That's
got a
great.
head.
Oh,
He tried to circle us.
Yeah, I could
got
tell.
I got him up that way, and then he crossed the creek. And I was listening because I heard something ahead of me, and then I heard a crack to the right, and I looked, and then I could see his eyes on right here.
Can somebody take
Yeah, it
some?
almost looked like.
God, look at that kid.
what can I say, but what an incredible experience to take such a magnificent animal with a longbow, it being my first traditional big game animal. I just couldn't have asked for anything better. What a day. He ended up weighing 362 pounds, and to be able to share it with such good people, members of my family and friends, new friends, old friends, it's an incredible experience. It's a huge reason I love the outdoors so much. It's because you get to share these experiences with others, and it's just, there's nothing like it in the whole world.